Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm not in my room. I'm in the only room in the whole house that has white lights, and I still had to use a ring light, so it's kind of pointless, but better than the room being yellow. Anyways, today we're talking about my February wrap-up, the books I read this month. Are you excited? Okay. The first book I finished this month. First of all, hold on, wait. So February was Black History Month, if you didn't know. I think everyone knows at this point. At least I hope so. So I tried to keep it to a lot of memoirs. It's only 4 books in the stack, so like how much can I show? But there was one book that I really wanted to read, and it has nothing to do with anything. It's called The Chain by Adrian McNitti. This is a thriller book. It came out last year in 2020. And this book honestly took me by surprise. See, I wasn't even like planning to buy this ever. I was in Barnes & Noble and I just saw it. So I said, that looks interesting. I'll take it. So I bought it and I actually love it. So basically the premise of this book is, let's say a child of yours gets kidnapped. You have to kidnap another child to get your child back. So, you know, this book combines a parent's worst nightmare, your child getting kidnapped, and those annoying chain letters everyone needs to get, those chain email things, where it's like, you receive an email and now you gotta send it to 5 other people, or this, that, and the third will happen to you. You know, those things never had real consequences, but this book does. It says if you don't kidnap another child, your child will die. So the story follows a few different perspectives. It follows the mother, the daughter. I believe we also follow the person who does, like, the person behind it all. So we follow the mom, the daughter, and, you know, the mastermind. The big old person, you know, who controls everything. So this book was actually really, really good. I actually really recommend it. It's not that big either. I'm not gonna lie, it had me at first, because it like kind of puts into mind like how far would you go to save your child, which I feel like anyone would do anything to get their kid back. So it's really like no question about it. Like, it's easy. Like, at first the mom was like, hell no, like, no, I'm not putting some other parent through this same pain. And the thing is, if you, because they have people like the chain, they have people everywhere, like spies everywhere, spies. So if the mom were to go to the police, someone would find out, and then the daughter and the mom would die. So it's kind of like a whoosh whoosh. So it really shows how fast someone is willing to save their child. I like this one. Okay. I actually wrote down notes. Hold on. I'm back. My little notebook here. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong page. Okay. The next book I read this month was Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. Angie Thomas wrote the bestseller The Hate U Give. Also, she wrote On the Come Up. This book, Concrete Rose, is like a prequel to The Hate U Give. There's not much else to stuff. It's the dad's life. The dad, Maverick. The story is about his life and the struggles of being a teenage parent, and just things he had to go through and things he did to make money for his family. And let me just tell you. So in the beginning of the book, it starts off with Maverick, the dad. I'm not going to call him dad. His name is Maverick. This is his story, okay? This is Maverick's story. Okay, this is separate. So he's playing basketball with his friends, and then he has an appointment at the Planned Parenthood place, because they took a DNA test to see if this kid was really his. Now, he got this girl pregnant when him and his girlfriend Lisa were broken up. Mind you, they were only broken up for a few days. They not even a long time, a few days. And in this like a few days, he was so depressed and so sad. He went and slept with this other girl and got her pregnant. So like whoop-de-doo, it backfired. But they weren't really sure if Maverick was really the dad because she also had a boyfriend. It was a whole schwibble schwabble of a mess. So DNA test came back. It was positive Maverick was the dad. So when he found this news out, you know, he owned up to it. He was actually a really great father. Like, he was actually amazing. But, of course, Lisa found out. She was like, oh, no, I'm not dealing with you no more. So she broke up with him. Of course, he was, like, heartbroken because he actually loved her or whatever. But, so, and then it just goes on from that point. It just goes on the trials and tribulations of being a teenage parent. Plus some other things, like being part of a gang and all this other stuff. I love this book. It was such a great story. The way it's written, it's written how people speak, which is something I really love about a lot of contemporary fiction books. Is like, it's not a crazy, because sometimes when I read fiction books that are like in the past, they use these words like that I have no idea what the heck anyone's talking about. But this book, it was an easy read for me because it was how people talk and how people really communicate. It wasn't like no, like, what are you talking about? So that was a really good one. I'm trying to, for 2021, I'm trying to incorporate a classic in every month. So for this month, the classic was Maya Angelou, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Believe it or not, what? Believe it or not, this is my first time ever reading this book. I never had to read for school. I never had to do like any of that. So first time I read it was for my own pleasure, and let me just say, I liked it. See, the thing is, it's an autobiography of Maya Angelou's life. So talking about it is like saying I liked it or didn't like it is kind of like, okay, well, so you didn't like her life. It's kind of a strange thing to say about autobiographies and memoirs, but the way she wrote everything, and she really encaptured, I'm trying to use big words. She really, showed, I felt her emotion through the pages, is what I'm trying to say. I cried a lot reading this book, actually. I cried a few times. This book does talk about sexual assault, so if you never read this book and if that is one of your triggers, just, it deals with it. I mean, it happened to her. She wrote about it. And it was like super, I'm just laughing because it was like, it's not funny, but I just like, while I was reading it, I was like, oh my God. Like, it was just like a heart broke, it went to my stomach and I threw it up type of emotion that I was feeling when I was reading those scenes. Yeah, it was no bueno. The book ends when she's around 16 years old, so of course she can't write. If she wrote a book about her entire life, I think it'll be like about this thick, because she passed away in 2014. So she's been alive for quite a while. There was one scene where Maya talked about her brother and how he was like, these white people were like assaulting him because he saw them dragging out a body out of the lake, and then he was like traumatized, and he came home and he was like crying and saying like, what did we do to make them hate us so much? And it was just like a moment where, once again, my heart broke, went to my stomach, and then I threw it up. One of those moments. This book has a lot of heartbreaking moments in it. The whole book is a heartbreak. It's like, not one good thing is in this book, I swear to God. But it's her truth. It was her life. And that made it even worse. It's because it's not just a book, it's someone's life. If you want a heartbreak, that's another one to read. Another heartbreak with some good moments in it is actually a new book that came out, I believe, this year. All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. Did you know why YA memoirs exist? Because I didn't until this. And I didn't even know it was a YA memoir, if I'm going to be quite honest. until, like, I knew it was I knew what the book was about because I heard like people talking about it on the internet, so I just went and bought it. But I didn't know it was considered YA until I read the this part. I don't know what this is called. Sorry. Until I read this part, and it says this is a groundbreaking young adult memoir. I didn't even know those existed. But anyways, this book also talks about sexual assault. These books just go to show that that's something like everyone goes through at least once, and it's a shame that that's the truth, but it's the truth. So George, he talks about All Boys Aren't Blue. It's just a memoir about a Black gay man and how he grew up and how he thought of himself while he's growing up, and the trials and tribulations and things he went through, which again is so hard. It's an autobiography once again, so it's hard to talk about it. Like, I did like it. I'm not the target audience for this book. I am not Black and I'm not gay, so I am not the target audience. He didn't even really accept himself for who he was until he was like in college. He was like 21 when he lost his virginity because he was so like scared that people will judge him for it, which is sad because he spent his whole life being scared. This book really did make me tear up a few times. He also really he lived with his parents, but he had a really close connection with his grandma. He said like him and all his cousins will always be at his grandma's house, which is kind of cool. I don't have that many cousins my age. So that's something I also can relate to. So like, this book was a whole turn for me. I feel like I didn't explain this book good at all. Like, I don't know how to explain autobiographies and memoirs. Like, I can just tell you it's about George and his life as a Black gay man and how he came to accept who he was. One thing I really did like about this book is that, well, not this book, well, his family, I guess, they were accepting like automatically. Like, they kind of knew he was gay from a young age, and ever since then he was accepted always. He never felt out of place in his family, which I love, because you hear so many stories about how young people are like kicked out of their house or all this crazy stuff because of who they are. So I really appreciated his family for doing that, and I was just like, see what happens when you're raised in a loving family. It's like, thank you, Jesus. Okay, so that was all the books I read in February. It was only 4 books. Kind of a bad month. Not really though, because I've been busy, and I know the video is gonna be out by like March 4th or 3rd or something. So sorry, I kind of filmed this a little late. I like to film these videos after the month actually ended, so I can like really finish the books I want to finish. But yeah, a book that I didn't read but would recommend definitely would I read it in January. It was Ta-Nehisi Coates, The Water Dancer. That book is phenomenal. I would also recommend, like I said earlier in the video, Black Boy by Richard Wright. That's also an autobiography. Really old. I think that's considered a classic too, which is a shame that it's like no one really ever hears of it. I had to read it in middle school. It's the only reason I ever know about that book. I definitely recommend reading that. I'm trying to think. I wanted to read Raybearer. I think I'm saying that wrong. Is this book. I wanted to read this book this month, but I just didn't have time. I didn't even buy it. But you know how you have it? I had like in my list of books to read, and I didn't get to it. So that's definitely gonna be added to another month. So a good reading month, I would say. I mean, I liked all the books I read. There wasn't a bad one. So I would say this was a pretty good month. I will see you guys next time. Please don't forget to comment other things that you would like me to read, or comment videos you would like to see me do. Right about now, I feel like reading logs, not reading logs, but just talking about things that I read is a pretty quick video for me. I don't even have time to be filming all day every day, but I have time to read all day, so it's like it depends who you ask. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.